All right, so let's get right into it today. Today we're going to be looking closely at Alphabet's Q4 2024 earnings.
Okay.
We've got the earnings cold transcript.
Yeah.
We've got some market reactions, some analyst commentary.
Right.
And we're going to try and make sense of it all together.
Awesome.
The really interesting thing here is Alphabet posted some really impressive revenue growth.
Huh?
They expanded their operating margins.
Yeah.
All the kind of stuff that makes investors happy.
Right.
But
Yeah.
then their share price dipped
After hours.
after the announcement. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try and figure out today.
Okay.
What is going on with Alphabet?
It is a little bit of a puzzle, isn't it? You
Yeah.
see these positive numbers
Yeah.
and then this unexpected market reaction.
Exactly.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Exactly. So let's start with the headline figures.
Okay.
Alphabet brought in $96.5 billion in revenue.
Wow.
That's a 12% jump year over year.
Okay.
Earnings per share landed at a solid $2.15,
Right.
which is a 31% surge compared to the same period last year.
Wow.
Now, to some, that might sound like a recipe for a celebration,
Yeah.
but the share price actually dropped
Yeah.
over 6% after hours.
Right. And that drop suggests that investors are looking beyond just those top-line figures.
Yeah.
There are some underlying factors at play here.
Okay.
Likely, including concerns about the impact of a strong U.S. dollar on international earnings, and some apprehension about Alphabet's increased capital expenditure.
Okay, so let's break down those revenue streams a bit.
Okay.
Google Services, which is, of course, the heart of Alphabet's advertising empire,
Right.
contributed $84.1 billion in revenue.
Okay.
But what really caught my eye was Google Cloud's performance.
Uh-huh.
They saw a huge jump,
Yeah.
bringing in $12 billion,
Okay.
which is a 30% increase year over year.
And it's not just the size of that growth.
Yeah.
It's what it tells us about Alphabet's strategic direction. This growth in Google Cloud is driven by both the adoption of their core platform products,
Yeah.
the things that businesses use every day to run their operations,
Right.
and by a surge in demand for their new generative AI solutions.
Okay, so Google Cloud is becoming a major player,
Yeah.
going head-to-head with the likes of AWS and Azure.
Mm-hmm.
But how does this rapid growth in Google Cloud benefit the average person?
Right.
Someone who might not be running a big business.
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
The more successful Google Cloud is,
Yeah.
the more resources Alphabet has to invest in things like improving search results,
Okay.
developing new features for YouTube,
Yeah.
and yes, even advancing their AI capabilities.
Yeah.
All of those things ultimately impact your experience as a user.
That's a good point. So stronger cloud performance means a better overall experience for everyone who uses Google products.
Right.
And let's not forget about Alphabet's improved operating margins.
Yeah.
They hit 32% this quarter.
That's a significant improvement. And it tells us that Alphabet is becoming more efficient at turning revenue into profit. They're squeezing more value out of every dollar,
Okay.
which is a positive sign for investors in the long run.
Yeah.
But to understand where that efficiency is coming from,
Well,
we need to take a closer look at those individual segments.
Right, because within those segments lies the real story, the details that help us understand what's driving Alphabet's performance.
Yeah.
Let's start with the big one, Google Services.
Okay.
Search and YouTube are still the bread and butter for Alphabet, right?
Absolutely. And despite all the talk of economic headwinds,
Yeah.
Google Services continues to show its resilience.
Okay.
People are still searching, still watching videos.
Yeah.
And that translates into a steady stream of advertising revenue.
Okay.
What's interesting is that user engagement remains strong, even in the face of competition from newer platforms.
So even with the rise of things like TikTok and Instagram Reels, people are still going back to YouTube for their video fix. What is it about YouTube that keeps people coming back?
Well, YouTube has this incredibly vast and diverse library of content.
Yeah.
Something for everyone.
Okay.
And they've done a good job of building a community around that content
Okay.
with features that encourage interaction and engagement.
Yeah.
It's not just about watching a video, it's about being part of a larger conversation.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about Google Cloud, because
Yeah.
that 30% growth is hard to ignore.
Right.
It seems like they're doing something right.
They are.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is that this growth isn't just about attracting new customers.
Okay.
It's about existing customers using more of Google Cloud services.
Mhm.
And that points to something really important, stickiness.
Okay.
When businesses start using Google Cloud, they tend to stick with it.
Yeah.
And they expand their usage over time.
Okay.
That's a great indicator of the value they're providing.
So Google Cloud is not just a one-trick pony. It's a whole ecosystem of tools and services that businesses are relying on more and more.
Right.
But we can't talk about Google Cloud without talking about AI.
Right.
Which seemed to be the theme music of this entire earnings call.
It was, and Sundar Pichai, Alphabet's CEO, was very clear in connecting their Q4 success to their momentum in AI.
Okay.
He highlighted Gemini 2.0 specifically, and that's something worth diving into.
Okay, so for those of us who might not be AI experts, break down what makes Gemini 2.0 so special. What is it that has everyone so excited?
Well, a lot of AI models out there are really good at processing text.
Okay.
But Gemini is different.
Okay.
It's what we call multimodal, which means it can understand and process not just text, but also images and audio.
So it's like giving AI a whole new set of senses, letting it experience the world in a richer way?
Yeah.
Why is that so important? How does that impact my everyday life?
Think about it this way. Right now, when you search for something online, you typically type in some keywords.
Yeah.
And the search engine tries to match those keywords to relevant websites.
Yeah.
But with Gemini,
Okay.
you could show a picture of a dress you like.
Okay.
And the AI could find you similar dresses from different stores,
Okay.
even if those stores haven't tagged their products with the exact same keywords.
Wow, that's a whole new level of search personalization.
Right.
Suddenly, my fashion sense has no limits.
Exactly.
But let's be real, Alphabet isn't the only player in the AI game.
Of course.
They've got competition, right?
They do. OpenAI's ChatGPT has made a big splash.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about China's DeepSeek, which is making some impressive strides in AI research.
Okay.
But Alphabet seems confident that its deep investments in AI will give it an edge in the long run.
So it's a race to the top, and Alphabet is determined to stay ahead of the pack. But let's circle back to that initial head-scratcher.
Yeah.
Why the share price dip?
Right.
Despite these seemingly stellar results?
Remember those concerns we talked about earlier about currency fluctuations
Right.
and increased capital expenditures? Well, those are likely weighing on investors' minds.
Okay.
They're also a bit wary of the potential impact of regulatory scrutiny, especially in the area of antitrust.
Coke?
And let's not forget the competitive landscape in the cloud market.
Yeah.
It's a tough battle out there.
And there's also the new CFO, Anat Ashkenazi.
Right.
Investors are watching her closely.
Yeah.
Trying to gauge her impact on the company's financial strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot for the market to digest.
Right.
Even with such a strong performance in Q4.
It is. But amidst all of this uncertainty, it's important to remember that Alphabet's fundamentals remain strong.
Okay.
They have a stellar IBD composite rating of 99.
Wow.
And many analysts still see significant upside potential in the stock.
Okay.
With price targets suggesting 11–12% growth from current levels. So for you, the listener, this means that short-term stock movements don't always tell the whole story.
Right.
You have to look at the bigger picture, the long-term potential of the company.
Exactly. So let's look ahead. What should we be keeping an eye on in the coming months? What are the key factors that will shape Alphabet's future?
Well, management's guidance for 2025 will be crucial.
Okay.
How do they see the core advertising business performing?
Right.
What about the impact of AI-driven improvements?
Yeah.
Analysts seem quite optimistic about continued growth in search advertising, predicting nearly 10% growth, which would be significant.
Okay, and I imagine those continued investments in AI and cloud infrastructure will be key to watch as well.
Right.
Alphabet has announced plans for a whopping $75 billion in capital expenditures for 2025.
Wow.
Which is a huge statement of their commitment to these areas.
It is. Yeah. And that investment could give them a significant competitive edge in the years to come.
Yeah.
It's a bold move, but it shows they're serious about winning the AI race. That level of investment is really a testament to Alphabet's belief in the transformative power of AI. It's not just about staying ahead of the curve, it's about shaping the future of technology.
And that brings us to a question that's probably on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
How does Alphabet plan to turn all of this AI innovation into cold, hard cash?
Right.
Because, let's face it, investors want to see a return on those massive investments.
Right, and that's where the conversation about AI monetization gets really interesting.
Right.
While Alphabet hasn't laid out a detailed roadmap, we can get some clues from their recent moves and from broader industry trends.
Okay, so what are some of the potential avenues for Alphabet to turn their AI expertise into revenue-generating machines?
Well, one of the most obvious areas is enhanced advertising.
Okay.
Gemini's ability to understand images and audio
Yeah.
opens up a whole new world of possibilities for ad targeting and personalization.
So we're not just talking about text-based ads anymore.
Right.
We're talking about ads that can understand the context of an image or a video and then deliver a highly targeted message to the viewer.
Exactly. Imagine you're watching a video about travel destinations.
Okay.
And an ad pops up for a specific airline or hotel
Yeah.
that's relevant to the places you're seeing on screen.
Okay.
That's the kind of hyper-targeted advertising that AI can enable.
And that level of personalization could make advertising more effective,
Right.
less intrusive, and maybe even more engaging for the user.
Exactly.
But beyond advertising, what other opportunities does AI unlock for Alphabet?
Well, think about the potential to create entirely new products and services.
Okay.
Personalized education platforms that adapt to your learning style,
Yeah.
or AI-powered healthcare tools that can diagnose conditions with incredible accuracy.
Okay.
These are just a few examples of the transformative applications of AI.
Those are some pretty game-changing possibilities, and it sounds like Google Cloud will play a key role in bringing these AI-powered solutions to businesses and consumers alike.
Absolutely. Google Cloud is becoming the launchpad for many of Alphabet's AI ventures. It provides the infrastructure, the computing power, and the reach to make these ambitious projects a reality.
So we've got enhanced advertising, new product creation, and Google Cloud as the backbone. Are there any other AI monetization strategies we should be watching for?
One area that's gaining a lot of attention is the concept of AI as a service.
Okay.
Or AIS.
Okay.
This is where companies essentially rent out their AI capabilities to other businesses.
So instead of building their own AI from scratch,
Right.
companies can tap into Alphabet's expertise and infrastructure. That seems like a win-win situation.
It is. Alphabet generates revenue from its AI investments, and other businesses get access to cutting-edge technology without the massive upfront costs.
Yeah.
It's a way to democratize AI and make it accessible to a wider range of organizations.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good grasp on the AI monetization front, but let's zoom out for a moment and talk about the bigger picture. What are some of the key challenges and opportunities that Alphabet faces as it navigates this rapidly evolving tech landscape?
Well, one of the biggest challenges, as we mentioned earlier, is competition.
Yeah.
The AI space is incredibly crowded,
Right.
with both established players and nimble startups vying for dominance.
Right. It seems like every week there's a new AI breakthrough or a headline-grabbing product launch. It's hard to keep up. How does Alphabet plan to stay ahead of the curve in such a dynamic environment?
Alphabet has a few key advantages.
Okay.
They have massive scale, a deep pool of talent, and a long history of innovation. They've also got a knack for acquiring promising startups and integrating them into their ecosystem. But beyond that, they're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, with AI investing heavily in research and development.
That makes sense, but competition isn't the only hurdle they face, right?
Yeah, no, there are also regulatory concerns. Governments around the world are grappling with the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Right.
And it's only a matter of time before we see more regulations and oversight.
So Alphabet has to balance its drive for innovation with the need to operate responsibly within a complex regulatory landscape.
Exactly. And they're acutely aware of that responsibility.
Okay.
They've been proactive in establishing ethical guidelines for AI development and use.
It sounds like they're trying to strike a balance between pushing the limits of what's possible with AI while also considering the potential impact on society.
That's right. They understand that AI isn't just a technological advancement. It's a societal transformation.
Okay.
And they want to be a responsible leader in this new era.
Now let's shift gears again and talk about the opportunities that AI unlocks for Alphabet. What are some of the exciting possibilities that you see on the horizon?
Well, one of the most transformative opportunities is the potential to revolutionize how we interact with information.
You mean going beyond just typing keywords into a search bar? What would that look like?
Imagine being able to ask your AI assistant complex questions and getting back insightful synthesized answers.
Yeah.
Or having it summarize lengthy documents and extract key insights for you. It could change the way we learn, research, and make decisions.
That would be incredibly valuable for students, researchers, and anyone who has to sift through mountains of information.
Exactly. And AI can also help us personalize our online experiences.
Okay.
Making everything from shopping to entertainment more tailored to our individual preferences. It's about making technology work for us, not the other way around.
So it's not just about making things faster or more efficient. It's about making them more relevant, more engaging, and ultimately more human-centered.
That's the key. AI has the potential to create a more human-centered digital world where technology adapts to us rather than the other way around.
That's a compelling vision. But let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for investors? Should they be bullish or bearish on Alphabet's long-term prospects?
Well, as with any investment, there are risks and rewards to consider. But in my view, Alphabet's strong fundamentals, its commitment to AI innovation, and its vast reach across multiple industries make it a compelling long-term bet.
So you're saying that despite the short-term stock fluctuations and competitive pressures, Alphabet is still a company worth believing in?
I believe so, yes. They're not just riding the AI wave, they're shaping it.
Okay.
And that's a powerful position to be in.
But let's not forget about those headwinds we discussed earlier.
Right.
The strong dollar, the capital expenditures, the regulatory scrutiny, these are all factors that investors need to keep in mind.
Absolutely. No investment is without risk. But Alphabet has a proven track record of navigating challenges and emerging stronger on the other side.
Yeah.
They've consistently demonstrated an ability to adapt, innovate, and deliver value to shareholders.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We've explored Alphabet's impressive Q4 earnings, delved into the world of AI monetization, and discussed the broader challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. But before we wrap things up, I want to touch on one more topic that's been making headlines lately: the metaverse.
Ah, yes, the metaverse, that elusive digital realm that promises to blur the lines between the physical and virtual worlds.
Exactly. And while it's still early days for the metaverse, Alphabet has been making some interesting moves in this space.
Right.
They've invested in VR and AR technologies, and they're exploring ways to integrate these experiences into their existing products and services.
It's a smart move. The metaverse has the potential to be a massive new market,
Yeah.
and Alphabet wants to make sure they're not left behind. They're also well-positioned to capitalize on the metaverse's potential for social interaction, entertainment, and even commerce.
So should we be adding Metaverse Pioneer to Alphabet's already impressive list of accolades?
It's too early to say for sure, but they're definitely a player to watch in this space. They've got the resources, the talent, and the vision to make a significant impact.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today, from Alphabet's strong Q4 performance to their ambitious AI investments and their intriguing foray into the metaverse. But what does it all mean for you, the listener? What are the key takeaways from this deep dive that you can use to navigate your own world? Let's shift gears one last time and synthesize what we've learned. It seems like one of the biggest takeaways is that Alphabet is no longer just a search engine company.
Right.
They're a global technology powerhouse.
Yeah.
With their fingers in so many pies.
Yeah.
From cloud computing to AI to, yes, even the metaverse, they're constantly evolving
Right.
and expanding, which
Yeah.
makes them a really fascinating company to follow.
Yeah, and I think another key takeaway is the pervasive impact of AI.
Yeah,
It's not just a side project for Alphabet.
right.
It's woven into the fabric of everything they do.
Uh-huh.
We saw how AI is driving growth in Google Cloud, how it's opening up new possibilities for advertising, and how it has the potential to create entirely new markets.
Yeah.
It's clear that Alphabet sees AI as the future, and they're betting big on it.
And that bet seems to be paying off, at least in terms of their Q4 performance.
Right.
But as we discussed, the market doesn't always react the way we might expect,
Yeah.
even with those strong results.
Right.
There were concerns about things like currency headwinds, increased capital expenditures,
Yeah.
and the competitive landscape.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder that even for a company like Alphabet, there are always challenges to navigate.
Absolutely. And I think that's a valuable lesson for any investor, really.
Yeah?
Don't get too caught up in the short-term fluctuations of the market. Instead, focus on the fundamentals of the company,
Yeah.
their long-term strategy, and their ability to adapt to change.
Okay.
In Alphabet's case, those fundamentals look pretty solid.
They do. And speaking of adapting to change, we can't ignore their moves in the metaverse.
Right.
It's still early days.
Yeah.
But they're clearly positioning themselves to be a major player in this emerging space. It's another example of how Alphabet is constantly looking ahead,
Right.
trying to anticipate the next big wave of technology.
And that forward-thinking approach is one of the things that makes them so interesting.
Yeah.
They're not content to rest on their laurels. They're always looking for the next big opportunity.
Right.
And they have the resources and the talent to pursue those opportunities aggressively.
So for you, the listener, what does this all mean well? If you're interested in the future of technology, if you're curious about the companies that are shaping our world, then Alphabet is a company worth paying attention to. They're not just a search engine anymore. They're a force to be reckoned with in the global technology landscape.
And as we've seen in this deep dive, their story is far from over. They're constantly innovating, evolving, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to see what they do next.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Alphabet's Q4 2024 earnings. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and come away with a deeper understanding of this complex and ever-evolving company.
As always, we encourage you to continue exploring, to stay curious, and to keep asking questions.
Yeah.
The world of technology is constantly changing, and there's always something new to learn.
Until next time, keep diving deep.